Welcome back to Ohio Airgun Shooter. The infamous orange tip for airsoft guns. Required by law in the United States of America. Remove or not to remove? That is the question. The funny thing is, while required by law on airsoft air guns of any type, they're not required by law for any air-powered BB guns or pellet guns of any type. At least not yet. There are some lawmakers in some states that are pushing to actually, I believe, instead of realistic looking black colored air guns, they want them to be bright colors, which in my opinion makes no sense at all, because you can actually get your firearm, true firearms, custom made, custom colorized into any bright color that you want. So their push to colorize air guns or airsoft guns is more or less just another attempt at more gun restrictions. But I'm not here in this video to get into all the political ramblings about the Second Amendment and, just other anti-gun, anti-air gun rhetoric. We're just here to discuss the orange tip for airsoft guns. Do you remove it or do you not? I guess that, in large part, is totally up to you. As you can see here, I have 4 airsoft blowback air pistols, replicas. Very realistic looking replicas. Matter of fact, this Walther PPQ is supposed to be an exact replica of the actual PPQ firearm. I mean, this is the Umrex Glock 17 Gen 4. Very realistic looking, as is the Steyr L9A2 and the Walther PPS. This is the Mark II. The orange tip clearly ruins the look of the air gun, the replica look. I mean, I know it's for safety, it's mostly for law enforcement, so they can tell the difference. Now, like for me, who, I like to shoot in my backyard, I kind of live in town, and I do have kind of close neighbors. They can kind of see down into my yard a little bit, even though it's fenced. So, I mean, if they see me shooting with something like this with an orange tip, it's a little bit more peace of mind with them. Instead of being back there with something like this, they might get nervous. So, I mean, there's a benefit to keeping it in. I mean, if you're not, just like me, I like to collect these, and I want them to look authentic. So, of course, I'm going to do whatever I can to remove them. I mean, it's not like I'm going to be brandishing this thing out in public, or have any malice intent. So it really, we should have the option to be able to remove them if we want to, which, as you can see, I kind of did here. Some are more difficult than others. Oh, this is the Glock 17 Gen 4 Airsoft. This one took a little work. I tried heating them up before to no avail, so this one here I just took a pair of vice grips and I just kind of squished, just kind of all the way around, and then it just kind of popped out. It did leave some in there, but I was able to clean it out with a pick. So, I mean, a few little scratches in there, but not too bad. You can usually dress up anything with a little bit of black marker, black paint pen. So definitely a much better look than what it looked like before. The PPQ, this one, not too bad. I did the same thing with the vice grips. It popped out pretty good. There was a couple little pieces in there. Still a little one I need to get out with the pick, but overall it's not bad. I mean, at least from the side it looks good. So here's this one. I was hesitant on removing some of these, but a viewer, Captain DAR, kind of pushed me, gave me a little bit more of a push in the direction of trying to remove them, because they just look horrible with the orange tips. I mean, I'm not planning on doing anything with these, you know, just enjoy them. I mean, mostly in the privacy of my own home. I mean, I do have property, which it's about a 20-minute drive. I mean, I have a good acreage that I can go out and shoot, but sometimes I just like it shooting in my backyard. I mean, who doesn't? Yeah, this one came out pretty good on the PPQ. This is one of my most recent that I got. Matter of fact, you just saw me shoot it in the last video. The Steyr L9A6, another Airsoft. This one came out really easy. Just a couple clamps of the vice grips and you can see the whole thing came out. A lot of times I have problems with this part here getting stuck inside the barrel still, the barrel insert, because you have the actual barrel and this is just kind of the outer part of it. But this one came out pretty easily. You can still see most of it's still there. So much better look without it. And then my little Walther PPS Mark II, same thing. This one was a little bit more difficult to get out. It broke apart, so I had to get in there with a small blade, try to cut it up some, and then I pulled out the rest of it with a pick, but it came out nicely. It's pretty clean. Might be a few scratches I might need to touch up with some black paint, but overall it did come out. So much better without it, of course. So I mean, it does depend on you. You know, just it looks so much better without it. Now, there was a few more that I had. One of the easiest that came off was from this Desert Eagle L6. This one popped right off. There wasn't really there's not a whole lot in here they can glue it on, so it was more or less just kind of pushed in there. A little effort with a pair of pliers, but it just came right out. You can actually put this one back in if you wanted to. If you wanted to go and shoot outdoors in my back, you know, if I wanted to in my backyard. This one is full auto, so, and semi. Another Desert Eagle. This is the full metal version. This is only a semi-auto. This one required a little bit more work. Again, it was glued in there really bad. When I popped it out, the front half came off, but there was a bunch stuck in there, so I had to clean all that out. I managed scratching it a little bit, but I covered it up with some black paint. I mean, it had to come off, this one. I mean, you want this thing to look as realistic as possible. Another one was the KJ Works 1911. This is the CO2 version. It too had an orange tip. This one came off really easy. Pair of pliers and it came right out. So little effort to remove this one. I mean, that one definitely had to come off as well. I mean, you want a 1911 to look as authentic as possible, and this one does, except for the CO2 mag. I mean, they do have gas mags for this. green gas, which is a flat plate. I think they might have a CO2 that has the flatter plate, so I'm going to check into those. Because with this, it doesn't look as realistic, but still very good looking 1911 replica. Another one that I removed was the Taurus PT 24/7. This is a Gen 2. This one, I used a pair of pliers and it broke right off. So I have a bunch of the orange tip stuck in there still. It's very flush, so it's not noticeable from the side, just from the front. This one I might just leave, because I'm afraid if I dig around in there too much, it's really going to scratch it up. So again, a big improvement from the side. Front view, not bad. I mean, I guess that's a backup safety feature I would assume. So, but again, it looks much better without it. So if you are in a country where the orange tip is required by law, you know, definitely check your state, federal, state, or local restrictions and laws on whether, you know, on whether or not you can remove these or should. Here in the States, I really don't see any reason not to. If you're a responsible individual with no, you know, I mean, as long as you're not going to use them for anything other than recreation, you know, or collecting, yeah, there should be no reason why you can't remove these. Shooting in town where, you know, space is limited and you don't want people to kind of get nervous, yeah, I mean, leave them in, especially for younger shooters. I mean, the age limit on these for anyone to really use them or purchase them is 18 and up. So anybody below that should either be with adult supervision, you know, if not, definitely keep these orange tips in. So, but yeah, that's a little bit about the orange tip. I was just glad I could get these removed. They look so much better without them. Much better. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.